Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we are tackling a really massive, high-stakes topic for the U.S. food industry, and that is sourcing premium 1121 white basmati rice directly from Pakistan. Look, if you're a distributor, a supermarket executive, or running a private label brand, you already know the absolute headache of securing a reliable supply chain. So we're going to break down exactly how you can eliminate all that procurement guesswork and seriously lower your commercial risk by partnering up with a fully integrated exporter like AHK Rice. To help you optimize those operations, here is our roadmap for today. We're covering 6 critical areas. First, the demand for consistency. Second, the supply chain trap. Third, the integrated AHK solution. Fourth, the procurement and sampling process. Fifth, timelines and U.S. logistics. And finally, number 6, the ultimate commercial advantage. All right, let's jump right into part 1, the demand for consistency. Before we even touch on supply chains, we have to ask a pretty fundamental question. What actually makes 1121 white basmati rice such a massive hit in American kitchens? Because honestly, understanding this product deeply is really the only way to evaluate your suppliers effectively. Product knowledge directly drives retail purchasing decisions. You see, consumers aren't just buying a bag of rice. They are buying an expectation. They expect a specific aroma, texture, and flavor. When a restaurant serves a dish or a family sits down for dinner, that single grain of rice needs to perform perfectly every single time. And those consumer expectations, they translate directly into hard, measurable commercial metrics for us. When professional buyers evaluate a shipment, things like grain length and aroma are totally paramount for the end user. But on the commercial side, your moisture levels, your broken percentage, and high purity sorting, that's what dictates the actual yield and quality of your batch. And it definitely doesn't stop at the grain itself. You need food-grade packaging, absolutely flawless export documentation for U.S. customs, and above all else, shipment consistency. Retailers and restaurants literally build their entire customer experience around these precise specs. If even one shipment deviates, the whole system feels the shock. That brings us to section 2, the supply chain trap. Let's be real about the operational risks importers face every single day. On one hand, you have the traditional model. It's this chaotic web of intermediaries that practically guarantees inconsistent grain lengths, wildly fluctuating broken percentages, and those absolute nightmare-inducing customs delays from documentation errors. All of these issues just skyrocket your costs and completely tank consumer confidence. But on the other hand, you have the integrated AHK process. We're talking one unified system, direct factory supply, and totally consistent grading and quality checks. It is literally the difference between just crossing your fingers and having absolute end-to-end control. So let's look at section 3, the integrated AHK solution. How does this actually work in practice? Well, AHK Rice manages every single production stage themselves rather than outsourcing the critical stuff. It kicks off with procurement directly from the prime basmati growing regions of Punjab. From there, the rice goes into a really rigorous processing and sorting phase. We are talking cleaning, grading, polishing, and super advanced color sorting with metal detection. Next up is the strict quality inspection phase where they evaluate moisture, broken percentages, and any foreign matter. Finally, we hit packaging and container loading. Because this entire thing happens under one roof, your supply chain risk drops dramatically. It ensures that your repeat orders match the exact same quality as your very first shipment. But producing great rice is really only half the battle. Delivering it exactly how the U.S. market needs it, that's the rest of the equation. AHK Rice completely tailors its export service to your specific commercial goals. So whether you're a supermarket chain that needs custom retail presentation and private label options to protect your brand, or you're a food distributor heavily focused on bulk packaging and container optimization, the service adapts to you. They use food-grade packaging materials, they offer flexible container quantities, and they give you total export documentation support. They aren't just forcing one standard spec onto everyone. They're actually aligning the product with your specific business needs. Moving right along to section 4, the procurement and sampling process. Any professional importer knows you rarely, if ever, place a bulk container order without a really rigorous evaluation first, right? So this 5-step structured sampling process completely eliminates the guesswork. Step 1 is the specification discussion, where you lay out exactly what you need: grain length, broken percentage, packaging size, the whole shebang. Step 2 is sample preparation. AHK Rice prepares a representative sample that matches those exact specs. Step 3 is sample dispatch via international courier. In step 4, product evaluation, you actually get to test the aroma, cooking performance, grain elongation, and packaging quality. Only after you give the green light do we finally reach step 5, commercial confirmation, and that's when production scheduling begins. It makes the entire transaction completely transparent. Now, if you're wondering about the barrier to entry for verifying all this, you'll be happy to know the costs here are incredibly accessible. A standard sample of 500 grams to 1 kilogram is usually totally complimentary from AHK Rice. The physical product is on them. You, as the buyer, simply cover the international courier charges, which typically run somewhere between 45 and 90 US dollars, depending on your exact destination. So for a really nominal shipping fee, you're getting complete peace of mind and establishing an exact standard for a major commercial transaction. It's a no-brainer. Okay, let's get into the hard data in Section 5, Timelines and U.S. Logistics. Here is a number I really want you to anchor on for your planning, 7.5. That represents the median of the 7 to 10 working days typically required by AHK Rice for production after you confirm the order and make the advance payment. Within this incredibly efficient little window, they are completing procurement, milling, grading, laboratory inspection, packaging, pallet preparation, documentation, and the final container loading. And once that container is loaded, the ocean transit from Pakistan to major U.S. ports kicks off. To put that into perspective, you're looking at about 24 to 32 days for the West Coast, 28 to 38 days if you're hitting the Gulf Coast, and 30 to 40 days for the East Coast. But what's really vital here is that AHK Rice actually coordinates this shipment planning, so you get estimated sailing schedules before the containers even depart. That gives you the crucial shipping visibility you need to prep your warehouse capacity, align your customs brokers, and manage your distribution well in advance. No more stock shortages. I also want to make a really quick but essential note on pricing. Beware of flat, unchanging export prices. They're a huge red flag. In reality, genuine pricing is highly dynamic. It adapts to variables like crop quality, specific grain length requirements, customized packaging, ocean freight rates, and, of course, seasonal market demand. AHK Rice provides tailored quotes based on your confirmed specs. This kind of transparency ensures you're comparing quotes based on identical quality standards rather than getting misled by some low headline price that's absolutely going to cost you in hidden quality issues down the line. Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 6, the ultimate commercial advantage. When you look at the big picture, it all boils down to one simple truth. The biggest commercial advantage of consistent sourcing is predictability. Predictability is literally the lifeblood of successful food importing. When your supply chain is predictable, your retailers know exactly what their customers are going to receive. Restaurants can maintain identical cooking performance across every single location. Distributors see a dramatic drop in quality-related claims. And most importantly, you, as the importer, get to simplify your inventory planning because you know for a fact that every shipment will follow the exact agreed specifications. In the long run, this stability lowers your operational costs and bulletproofs your brand's reputation. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today. I highly encourage you to take a hard look at your current procurement risks. Reach out to AHK Rice, request a tailored quote, and start building a partnership you can actually depend on. Because ultimately, you have to leave here asking yourself one thing: is your current supply chain truly reliable?